Alright, let's talk about how to get started in cybersecurity. If you're new, this might seem like a big field, but don't worry. We're going to break it down in a simple and clear way. Let's start with something called offensive security. Offensive security is basically the attacker side of cybersecurity, but done in a legal and ethical way. Instead of protecting systems, your job is to think like a hacker. You try to break into systems, find weaknesses, and then report those problems so they can be fixed. People who do this are called ethical hackers, penetration testers, also known as pentesters, and red teamers. Now, you might hear something like, hack your first website. This does not mean hacking real websites. Instead, you practice in safe environments. These include labs, simulations, and intentionally vulnerable websites. These systems are designed for learning, so you don't break any laws. Magnifying glass what you learn as a beginner. As you begin learning offensive security, there are a few key things you'll focus on. First, you learn how websites actually work. What happens when you type a URL, how your browser sends a request, and how a server responds with data. Then, you learn about common weaknesses in websites. For example, login bypass, finding ways to log in without the correct password. SQL injection, tricking a database into giving you access. Cross-site scripting, also called XSS, injecting code into a website. You'll also start using basic tools. Things like browser developer tools, simple scanning tools, and command line tools. Simple example. Imagine a login page. A normal user enters a username and password. The system checks if the details are correct. But a hacker might try something different. Instead of a normal password, they might enter special code to trick the system. If the system is weak, it might allow access without proper authentication. So your job in offensive security is simple. Find these weaknesses before real attackers do. Important rule. Always remember this. Offensive security is only legal when done in authorized environments. Never test or attack real websites, company systems, or someone else's network. Now let's look at the other side of cybersecurity, defensive security. If offensive security is about attacking, defensive security is about protecting. Here, your job is to detect attacks, stop hackers, and protect systems and data. People in this field are called blue teamers, security analysts, and incident responders. Key areas in defensive security. Let's break this down into simple parts. 1. Threat intelligence. This is about understanding attackers, who they are, what techniques they use, and what systems they target. You can think of it like research, almost like studying how hackers think. 2. Society, Security Operations Center. A SOC is like a control room for security. It monitors systems 24 hours a day, watching for anything unusual. For example, if someone tries to break into a system at 2 a.m., the society detects it, alerts the team, and helps stop the attack. 3. DFIR, Digital Forensics and Incident Response. This happens after an attack. It involves investigating what happened, how the attacker got in, and how to fix the problem. Think of it like a crime investigation, but for computers. 4. Malware analysis. Malware means harmful software, like viruses or ransomware. In this field, you study how malware works, what damage it causes, and how to stop it. 5. SIEM. A SIEM is a system that collects and analyzes data from different sources. It looks for unusual behavior and sends alerts when something suspicious happens. You can think of it like a smart dashboard for monitoring security. Real-life example. Let's connect everything. A hacker tries to log into a system many times. The SIEM detects unusual activity. The SOC team gets an alert, and the system blocks the attacker. That's defensive security in action. Careers in cybersecurity. Now let's talk about career paths. There are many roles in cybersecurity, depending on what you enjoy. In offensive security, you might become a penetration tester, testing systems for weaknesses. A bug bounty hunter, finding bugs and getting paid. A red team operator, simulating real-world attacks. In defensive security, you might become a security analyst, monitoring systems, a SOC analyst, working in a security operations center, an incident responder, handling attacks, a security engineer, building secure systems. There are also specialized roles, like malware analyst, digital forensics expert, cloud security engineer, application security engineer. Beginner tip. Here's something important to remember. You don't need to learn everything at once. Start with the basics. Understand computers. Learn networking. Learn operating systems. Then choose your path. If you enjoy breaking things and testing systems, go into offensive security. If you enjoy protecting systems and stopping attacks, go into defensive security. Simple analogy. Think of cybersecurity like a bank. Offensive security is like trying to break into the bank, legally, to test its weaknesses. Defensive security is like protecting the bank from robbers. And careers are just different roles inside the bank. Final advice. Take your time. Don't rush the process. Practice in safe environments. Stay consistent. And focus on truly understanding what you learn, not just memorizing it. If you keep going step by step, you'll build strong skills in cybersecurity.